Welcome in. It's From the Bleachers, the podcast. Brought to you by the Fan Sports Network.
Welcome in, everybody. It is From the Bleachers, the podcast here on the Fan Sports Network. My name is Kaden Foremaster, and we got a great guest today that's going to be hopping on the show with us, Jaslyn Gardner, who is a great track athlete from my hometown of Enterprise, Utah. And it's always fun for me to be able to see the success of people that I kind of grew up around. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit older than Jazz was, but I'm excited to get on into it. So without further ado, we've got Jaslyn Gardner on the phone with us. The big news today is that you're going to be competing for an Olympic spot. You're going to be a part of the Olympic trials. Now, a little bit of backstory for you, Jazz. You can kind of talk us through this here. You are a Southern Utah native from Enterprise, where obviously I'm also from Enterprise. So I mean, I've kind of been following your track career since you were even in high school. But tell us a little bit about what kind of drew you to the sport and kind of the progress that you've been able to go through in your life so far.
Yeah, so I guess I started when I was 10 years old, and I joined a club team down in St. George, and I just really liked the atmosphere of track and field and my teammates and just like being able to compete and just do a bunch of different events, and I think that kind of just drew me to track. It's just such a fun sport for me. And so, yeah, and then I decided to do track in college as well after high school. And then, yeah, it was a really good 6 years of college. And so, yeah, I'm happy to be where I am today.
So tell me a little bit about your college career at BYU. You were there kind of when COVID hit as well, so you got some extra eligibility, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which that obviously is nice as well. But tell me, some of the competition you're racing against at BYU, I mean, you're up against the best of the best. Tell me about that competition jump from, you're racing in 2A high school track. It's a little different when you get onto that bigger stage at BYU.
Yeah. When I decided I wanted to do track in college, I talked to the BYU coach about kind of the places they go to do to their meets and stuff. And I really wanted to have the opportunity to go up against some big-time competition, and they were able to tell me that they go to a lot of good meets, and so I just knew it was a good fit for me, and of course, like the atmosphere and the team as well. And yeah, we've been able to go up against a lot of pro athletes who are pro now, or like at the time they were in college, but running the same times pretty much, and just able to go up against the best in the nation and people who have world records and stuff like that. So it's been a really fun journey to go up against competition like that.
Now, you are still, I don't know if you checked this or not, but you are still the state record holder for 2A in both the 100-meter and 200-meter. Your 100-meter time was 11:69. Your 200 was 23:75. I'm sure you've broken those times since. What are your current personal records?
Yeah, my current personal record is 11:22, win legal for the 100, and a 23.10 for the 200.
Pretty good times. Listen, I probably would, double that, and that's probably what I'm getting because I'm not a sprinter. So, pretty good times there. And for you, what's it feel like when you go out and you see that time pop up on the board? That's that new personal record. What does it feel like when you see those new times popping up?
I feel like for me, it kind of just feels like a finally moment of like, oh, I've worked so hard, and I'm finally starting to see all the hard work pay off, and so it's just like a finally moment for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about with the Olympic trials coming up. What are some of the details about it? Like, what day, for example, are you going to be running?
For me, I run on the first day, which is Friday, the 21st. And then if you make the next round, you run the next day on Saturday, the 22nd.
Are you competing in multiple events or just one?
I'm just doing the 100 meter.
Okay. Now, how many different women are going to be taking part in the trials? Do you know?
Like on the team or just like?
Just in general, just for the event as a whole.
I think they only take top 35 or 36.
Okay.
And we had to like declare and like put our times in like a week ago, and then they kind of just sort through who hit the Olympic standard and like who they can bring up who didn't hit the Olympic standard, but are still like their times are still accepted into the meet and stuff. So yeah, it ends up being around 35, 36 people.
Gotcha. So tell me a little bit about the training process. Like, what does a day in the life of someone training for an Olympic trial look like?
Right now, we mostly just been doing the same stuff throughout, like even through preseason of college and like in season and then like pro season stuff right now. But mostly like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll have our morning lift. We go to the weight room and lift there for about an hour, hour and a half, and then a few hours later we'll go outside to the track. And it's usually pretty consistent every day at the track, usually in the afternoon, and we're usually out there for around 2 hours averagely. And it's like we do a lot of speed stuff once or twice a week, and then we have our speed endurance days at least once or twice a week, and then we have a day for recovery. And so yeah, it's kind of just like a well-rounded schedule that we have.
So, I mean, a lot of the training, like you mentioned, there is a lot of speed, a lot of strength, that kind of stuff. Do you spend time still? I mean, I ran track in high school as well. I kind of understand some of the intricacies of the sport, right? Like getting off the blocks, for example. Is that still something that even at your level, you're still training to get better at every single day?
Yeah, I do feel like each year I've been able to like kind of change my block start and kind of just fix it in a way to make it a little bit better. And so yeah, I feel like even now that's been one of my main things, is just focusing on getting that even better and like more consistent.
So tell me a little bit about kind of the goal setting, because I know from your story, from being back in high school and talking with your family and again, just people in our community in small Southern Utah and in Enterprise, that one of your goals had always been to try to get qualified for this 2024 Olympics. With that goal in mind, tell me about the process to get here and kind of that feeling when you heard that you qualified to get into these Olympic trials.
Yeah, I guess the process, going back to when I was younger and thinking it could be something in my future of like possibly going to the Olympics. And I knew it was going to be something that was going to be hard to do, but like not impossible to do. And I guess over the years, I realized how hard it is to make it to the trials, but I still was like just wanting to put in my best effort and just try to just keep getting better and like getting faster and stronger, and then just kind of see where that takes me. I kind of was like, later on, I wasn't like too worried about or too focused about trying to make the trials, but like if I was just at a good place or fast enough to do it, then it would be a great opportunity for me to go. And so I'm really glad that this year was my senior year and final year at BYU, and that happened to be an Olympic year. And so put in my fastest time of this year when I PR'd, and it happened to get accepted into the trials.
So tell me a little bit about college, just for a second here in your last and your final season. What were some of your thoughts going into the season, some of the goals that you wanted to accomplish in this last year?
Some of my goals going into the season is that I just wanted it to be my best year. And I kind of dealt with like injuries every year for the most part. Some were worse than others, but I just knew that at this point, the injuries probably weren't going to be as bad because I figured out how to like reduce injuries, I guess, for myself and kind of stay on top of things. And so this year's been really good with me not getting as injured as I've been before or something like that, to be able to come back from my injuries a little quicker than I have in the past. And so I just my goals this year were just to try to podium at the Big 12 championships. Since we were in the conference this year for the first time, I wanted to podium and to make to the finals and stuff for the Big 12 conference. And then I still had my eyes on breaking the school record for the 100 and then the outdoor 200 meter as well. And I wasn't really looking much at the indoor 200 meter because it was almost identical to the outdoor 200 meter. And for me, my indoor 200 was a little weaker, I guess, than my outdoor 200. And so I was like, if I get that, that'd be awesome, but could be kind of hard. But then I kind of just was like, well, I've ran this fast outdoor, then I feel like I can run this fast indoor, and was able to get that school record as well. So it was overall a really good season.
So tell me all the BYU records you currently hold then.
I hold the indoor 60 meter, the indoor 200 meter, and then the outdoor 100 meter and 200 meter.
It's got to feel pretty good stamping your name into the record books at a school that has been around as long as BYU and is at the competition level that BYU's at. That's got to feel pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels good.
All right. So, again, just kind of final thoughts here as we get closer to wrapping up with you, Jazz. Of course, being that I am, from the same hometown that you're from in Enterprise, that I know that you've got a lot of people rooting for you here in Southern Utah. And I mean, probably across the entire state of Utah as well. With the Olympic trials coming up, I do want to just ask one more question. What's after this? What's after college? Do you want to keep up with running? Do you want to try to stay in shape and keep competing after this?
Right now I'm kind of like 50-50 of if I feel like I can keep going after this season is officially done, then I'll try to maybe reach out to some people and just kind of figure out how I can do that and continue to do track. And if not, then I will probably just start my personal training certifications because I do want to get into personal training and coaching and stuff. So either way, would be happy with either choice.
Awesome. Love it. All right, Jazz. Well, thank you for joining me on the show today. I'm super pumped for you and absolutely going to be watching. I know that NBC is going to be hosting the Olympic trials. So for those of you that want to watch, that's the place to watch it. And you can get more information online about that for all of our listeners. So Jazz, best of luck to you. And again, where's the event being held? I know a lot of times they hold it in Oregon. Are they back in Oregon again this year?
Yeah, it's back in Oregon.
All right. Well, we'll be keeping our eyes out for you and wishing you the best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Another shout out to Jaslyn Gardner for hopping on the phone and talking about her experience leading up to these Olympic trials going on this weekend. I'm super excited for her and for her family and for everybody who is supporting her along the way. This is an absolute gem to be able to experience this, to be able to experience somebody from here in Southern Utah on this stage. And what an experience this is definitely going to be. So thank you for listening in, everybody. This has been From the Bleachers, the podcast. And, of course, you can subscribe right here, wherever you're listening to the podcast or wherever you prefer to listen to your podcast. Go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss out on an episode of From the Bleachers. More to come at a later date. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you.